Hey guys, it's James from Diskord, and we're on to the next part, and we're just going to add a little bit more excitement to this drop with a couple of bass hits. So once again, I'm going to reach for A.N.A, because we've played with this a lot and there's some really cool bass sounds. So see that characteristic just down there at the bottom of the filter sounds really cool. It's almost sort of a vowel-y kind of sound. I think we can do something with that. So I'm just going to put in a short F sharp just on the first beat of this bar. So basically this would happen on the drop. So it's going to build up. Wow. So let's try that. That's not the right note at all. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of a, so it was using the mod wheel for the, it's linked to the filter there. So just in envelopes here, just select modulation from there. And I'm just going to draw a little sort of wow. So straight away you can hear that sounding pretty cool. It's quite loud. So next thing I'm going to do is, you can probably guess, I'm going to reach over here for an OTT and I'm going to absolutely rinse it. So straight away, how sick does that sound? I'll just pull a bit of the release off there. Oh, hang on. Okay, cool. So that's that. I might even just go 100%. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Okay, so then it needs like a bit more grit in the upper part. So this overdrive is wicked. I really do love the build. I don't think we've used it yet in this project because you've got, for a couple of reasons, because you've got this filter section which is amazing. So you could, if you want to, something you can do which adds a lot of character to individual sounds without making them completely distorted. You can kind of pick one area of the sound and just distort the hell out of that, and then the rest of it stays clean. Plus you've also got a dry and wet on it, which is sick. So let's just ramp the drive up there, and the tone basically is how much of the high end is kind of attenuated, because obviously when it distorts it, it adds high end, but this kind of decides how much of that high end gets let through. So let's go. So there you go, that's pretty sick. Oh, that's nice. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, it sounds pretty good to me. I'm also gonna do, this is something, a little trick here, using a ping pong delay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some stereo content, because it's already got stereo content, but I just want to accentuate it a bit, basically. So what you do is you turn off the sync and you basically delay this by a few milliseconds, And what that's going to do is, so the left channel will be at 1 millisecond, and the right channel will be at 12 milliseconds. And what that's called is called a Haas delay. What it means is it widens the sound, but by delaying one of them, but you still perceive it as one sound. So it doesn't kind of it kind of gives you more stereo width, but without kind of sounding weird or you know, taking the, like, it doesn't sound audible. It's just like a subtle effect. So and also this delay is wicked because it's got this filter section. So and then no feedback, because I just want it to happen once. I don't want it to repeat. So let's just add a little bit of that. So you hear that? That's all in the stereo field. So it just opens it up a bit. It just makes it a bit wider. I think that could probably, this sound overall could probably lose a bit of low end. So just gonna get rid of some. Maybe just give it a bit more. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Maybe then I'm gonna just do the old reverb then OTT as well. So nothing too big, just something to give it a bit of space. So medium. Let's try a medium room. It's nice, it's a bit long. Bit too much high and low end. So we use the filter again to just attenuate that a bit. Okay, sounds good. I might just lose a bit more high end. Okay, cool. And then I'm going to OTT that again, which is going to kind of squash all that together and just make it sound a little bit more. There you go. So it just pulls up that reverb a little bit. And what it also does when you use OTT as well, so you'll notice when it accentuates really subtle movements and changes in the sound. So like you really notice the filter because it's so squashed. And so yeah, what we'll do is like when we start laying out the tune, each time this happens we'll have a slightly different filter pattern, because that'll just, you know, you can do it really quickly. You can just copy a load of them along and then go into each one and slightly change the envelope, and that's just going to add so much more excitement to the tune. So there's that one. That sounds wicked. We'll burn like the yeah, that's sounding a bit slow to me. I think I might just knock this up to 160. Give it a bit more energy. Okay, yeah, that sounds cool. Let's get another one for this bit here, for this gap here. So they're probably going to want to be in a pretty similar sort of spectrum. They're going to want to have the same kind of frequency. So what I'm actually going to do is just duplicate this channel, which means that then we can keep the same effects on there. But obviously, it's, you know, what that's going to do is just that we're going to use a completely different sound, but because it's running through all the same kind of distortions and EQs and stuff, it's gonna sit with the other bass sounds. So we've got this. I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to show you, it's a very, very simple bass sound. Let me just turn off all these effects and I'll just show you what the bass actually sounds like. It's a very, it's like one oscillator. It's just a pulse wave with a lot of distortion on it. and just this a filter with a lot of resonance, with a really simple filter envelope on it to give it that kind of wow effect. And yeah, like I said, the distortion on here is doing quite a lot of the work, as you can tell by that. So the distortion on this synth is wicked. It's got a really sort of it's got a real bite to it. I'm a big fan. It's got a high pass filter on it as well, which is cool. So it means that you know, it doesn't the low end doesn't go through it as much, so the sound stays a lot cleaner because of that. So that already sounds pretty cool, just straight out of the synth. But we are going to put these effects back on. We're going to use the same effects. I don't think we need as much. I probably don't need any of that, to be honest. But and bit of this, bit of that. So it just sounds like it's part of the tune immediately. It sounds really, really aggressive and yeah, I really like that. I like that sort of wowy kind of sound. So what we're going to do is just we'll use the same. I'll just move that. Actually, I'm just going to record it in. Or why do I need to record it in? It's one note. So I'm just going to go to F sharp. And make sure, like, draw it in so you get the whole, that whole wow. And then let's see what it sounds like. Ooh. Okay, so it's cool, it's a bit long. But the thing is, I want to have that whole filter movement. I want the whole thing, so I need it to happen quicker. So what I'm going to do the thing is that the sound is shaped by all the effects as well. So what I'm going to do is just record it in quickly. So add a new track, call it bass in. I can't type. And then output that to bass in. Set this to in. Hit record on there as well. And then hit record. So now we've got that sound as a piece of audio. And we can do what we want to it. So what I can do is in here, so I want to, like I said, I want to retain the whole of that filter movement, but I want it to happen in pretty much half the time. So just gonna, oh, let me set that on Complex Pro. So a bit quicker maybe. Hey, what's going on? Why won't it let me do this anymore? There we go. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, I like that. I'm also gonna grab this, and this is a little, I'm just letting you into another one of our little secret little tricks that we do, just to give a little bit more like lead up to this sound rather than it just coming out of the blue there. Let's grab another copy of it. Command J will make it its own copy. You don't necessarily need to do that, but it just keeps things tidier. Then reverse it. Grab just the kind of the tail, which is now the start, and then maybe fade it in a little bit, and make a little gap so that you still want the attack of the next part of the sound. So now. Let's get a bit more of it. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. So now when you play that in the loop, it kind of leads up to the bass hit a little bit. So yeah, I like that. Okay, cool. Well, now we've got a couple of decent bass hits there. I think we're at the point now where we need to start actually laying the track out. So if you join us in the next part, we'll start laying out a little intro, and then we'll get into this breakdown and then build up into this drop. So yeah, come check out the next part.
If you like this course, why not head over to sonicacademy.com, where we have hundreds of complete track builds in every genre imaginable, including all the project files and samples. You'll also find tutorials on plugins and synths, mixing and mastering, over 250 tech tips, artist interviews, along with our award-winning plugins, samples and preset packs.